Hello and welcome to Let's Play 2 2016. This is 2K and this is going to be USPW Episode 1. This episode is being done as part of the release day stream, still using our demo as the full game has not yet been released. Going to be going through USPW and showing off the game a little bit and some of the changes. So let's start off by starting a new game. This is the screen that should open up when you open the game. Right here is your new game button, fairly self-explanatory. So for those of you who are unaware, Total Extreme Wrestling is a wrestling booker simulation game. So it is not simulating your rise to the top as a pro grappler, it is simulating your rise to the top as the storyline creator. The booker. Now, this may seem like it's very different, and that's because it is. There's really nothing else like it out there. So strap in, get prepared. It's gonna be different, but usually fun. So as we wait for the game to get going, we are. Oh, geez. So, if you've never really thought of wrestling outside of the terms of, like, just what goes on the screen, obviously someone writes all of that. So, you want to book every... Oh, jeez. I'm not going to be able to maintain this if the computer's not going to cooperate. Aw, man. That's alright. I could cut that out. We'll start it back up when the game actually decides to cooperate. Alright, so we're just going to pick a one-player game. The game does allow play-by-email multiplayer. And we're just going to pick, we'll go with KP Avatar. Our reputation, which is our reputation as a booker, what the rest of the world thinks about us. I'm going to go with average. Our user talents, which are different talents for which we have to use in our booking that make things easier or harder depending on where they're set. I'm going to pick default. Default gives you the baseline game, no changes for the positive or the negative. And I'm going to select as an avatar. And we are going to select USPW. United States Pro Wrestling is the biggest company in the default universe. I think of it as a slightly more PG modern day WWE. And it has a ton of money, a ton of popularity. Now there's two choices here you can see. Select owner, which allows you to play as the owner. You won't get owner goals. You won't get fired if you perform badly. Or play as the booker, where you may have owner goals unless you've turned them off. We're going to have them off for this game. And you have the ability to get fired if you're not doing great. There's also Tour Company, which gives you a little blurb about them, and then tell you who the big deal workers in USPW are. We're gonna go ahead and we'll be the booker. So the first thing you'll notice here is the splash screen, the first screen, and that is your website. It gives you different information. As this is the first day, a lot of this information isn't very big. So, you're looking here. This is the screen that you're going to see a lot of information on. And it looks like an information overload at first. But it is split up into 4 different sections. Creative, management, external, and business. For the time being, we're going to ignore external and business except for this button. national battles. Now, there are 3 national companies in the United States, and right now, USPW is set to lose the national battle. National battles are based on the popularity of the top 5 workers in the company. Essentially, how much of a draw are you pulling in? So we're going to try and prevent falling in our national battle. And the easiest way to do that is by luring in a big star. Barrett Koklov is an on-hiatus worker, a ripped giant, and we're going to bring him in for 1 year because he is over. He's incredibly popular. Merit will help us not come in last in the national battles. Not coming in last in the national battles will help us not get hit on popularity and not fall to Colt. So Merit Koklov will bring that in. Now, up here we have all of the creative items you may need. Your product, which is important to know. Now, there's a lot of different items here. You could ignore the ones that say none because they don't pertain to your company. So we are a heavy, traditional, key feature mainstream, or popularity, and low comedy. Like I said, it's a little bit like modern day WWE. Modern day WWE does have a little bit more modern than this has, which is over the top rope moves and such not. So you will see you'll see more big plotting guys with punching in USPW. Here we have our creative meeting. This is where you can get a lot of information on the company. There are 5 franchise players, which is Rich Money, Nikki Champion, James Justice, Steve Freely, and Enigma. Your future, which is Julius Moore, and then a little bit wider lens of the future, Julius Moore, Tiffany Jade, Casey Valentine, Running Wolf, and Miss American Pie. Talk the Talk are obviously people who are good on the mic. Rich Money, Nikki Champion, Belle Bryden, James Justice, and Dawn Gimmel. I hate that name, by the way. So, Rich Money, Nikki Champion, Enigma, Trent Schaefer, and James Justice are showstoppers, people who can really go in the ring. So you're talking more flashy stuff here, stuff that makes the crowd sit up and pay attention. Ring generals are those who can hold the match together when it needs to be held together. They're more the silence in between the notes type guys. Rich Money, James Justice, Enigma, Raven Robinson, and Chris Caulfield. Who's hot, who's not, is who is popular at the moment. Our time decline, people who are aging and falling from grace. Crusher Karloff, Chris Caulfield, James Justice, Tyson Bane, Freddie Dodson. And our hidden gems are workers not on our roster who may be able to make a splash in USPW. Now, out of this, I am going to sign 2 people here. Greg Gage is going to come in, hopefully. And Sarah Marie York. Is going to come in. And why not? Jamie Quinn as well. We could have Jamie be a heel, Sarah be a face. Because our women's division is aging. I don't know how many. Oh, none of them were in time decline, but that's still. Here, messages from our personal assistant. We need to be assigned a position on the roster. So if we go to push, recommend push as an enhancement talent, so we don't have any popularity, so we're going to be on the lowest rung of the ladder. And then it's telling us a few people who would benefit from having their gimmicks changed, and we'll get to that in a second. But the production department currently has warnings. So anything yellow is equal to our rivals, rivals being people of the same level. We mentioned earlier that there were 3 national companies, so we want to be of the same. Our music is red, meaning it's lower, so I'm going to upgrade it to major licensed. That's going to prevent us from taking damage in our shows. So before we go to our gimmicks, I just want to look at our storylines. We have 4 storylines currently going at the start. As you can see up at top, we need 2 storylines with a minimum of B heat in order to meet the demands of the fans. So we have a Champion Falls, which is between Nikki Champion and Steve Freely. Steve Freely having just won the title from Nikki Champion. We have Breaking the Law between Rick Law and Trent Schaefer. For the Working Man, which is Chris Caulfield and his patriotism and everyman ethics versus Rich Money. And Smash of the Titans, which is The Force, T-Rex, and Tyson Bane. So with that, we are going to get right into these gimmicks here. The Sadist Corporal gimmick might be a little outdated. And what is he doing now? Is he just a road agent? So it doesn't matter what he is. So you just quickly, I clicked on filter, and I'm going to exclude gimmicks that don't suit this worker. And I'll make him a bitter veteran, but it does not matter because he's never going to be on the show. Freddie Dodson is a blue-collar worker. That gimmick has passed him by, so we're going to disposition face. We want face gimmicks for him. And beloved veteran seems like it would work for him. He's been around. He's 44, I believe. 46. 46. All right. So a beloved veteran works, and Killer Cass needs a new gimmick. She is a monster currently. Obviously, she's going to remain a heel. Just moving her to a badass seems like the best move here. And hopefully that takes off with the crowd. So I will see you guys at the show. Oh, and hopefully I remember to cut here and I'm not just talking to YouTube when I'm not supposed to be. How's it going, chat? How you doing? My throat's already sore and it's only been an hour. Yeah. Overtime. Epical. Overtime. Man. Computer, if you could not be running this hot, that would be fantastic. You gotta keep working for 23 more hours. Whoa, what? You did? No spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers. Aw, Larry Wood retired. Okay, welcome back. So I lied, we're not going to make it to the show. It looks like Greg Gage is willing to sign with us before we have our actual TV show. So I'll go ahead and do that, bring him in as a heel. So as you can see here, because he's working for another company, he's going to take 7 days to join us. So he won't be available for our next show, but the show after he will be. Alright, so chat, before I go ahead and do anything here, I will be back. I have to go use the restroom and take care of some food related items so that I can eat a little later. So alright. So here we are at USPW American Wrestling, USPW's weekly television show, telling us who isn't available yet. Alicia Strong, who is one of our women's workers, is out injured. And Greg Gage, who, as I stated, will not be available for this show. We have locker room incidents. Running Wolf and James Justice. Running Wolf was brought before the wrestlers' court, accused of not joining the rest of the locker room for a night out. The judge, James Justice, found him guilty and sentenced him to buy drinks for everyone after the show. So you'll get little incidents like this, which just sort of bring the locker room to life, and can also change people's personalities slowly over time. As you can see, Running Wolf has probably become less of a loner. You could also have your locker room controls. So you can do a few things: hardline stance, clear the air, public firings, ribs. I'm going to meddle. Meddle means that you could discreetly meddle with the relationship of any two workers who are currently in the locker room. I'm going to do a positive meddling, which will try and improve their relationship. Obviously, you can do negative, and that will obviously try and create a negative one. Now I'm going to try and take our two big stars and make them friends. And it had no effect. So let us book the show. Booking the show is fairly easy. You have add match and add angle here. You have your analysis tool here, which tells you A, who hasn't been used, and B, any major needs in your analysis of current show that are happening. So you have here, your product asks for at least one match aimed at storytelling, but so far you have none. Now, should you wish, there's the assistant booker option. If you click on this, this will auto book the show for you. So if you only want to play as the owner, or if it's Heat or Thunder or Velocity and you don't necessarily want to book that, you just click create matches and it creates both the matches and the angles for the entirety of this show. And I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of them all quickly. Now, each company is going to play differently because you want to have that control over what exactly is happening with that company. You don't want, for example, Ring of Honor 2006 to feel the same as WWF 1999. And the way that happens is, as we talked about, your product. Not only will the product tell you what the fans are looking for, mainstream, traditional, comedy, hardcore, modern, it's also going to tell you the match ratio. So for television, they're expecting 60% matches, 40% angles. Which equates to about 48 minutes, by cat, 48 minutes of angles. Now, I'm going to book this a little bit backwards. I want to book a strong opener between upper mid-carders here. Preferably upper mid-carders, not in a storyline. I think the Force, even though he is in a storyline, and Jumbo Jackson, but I know that won't rate well. So, I'm going to do DC Reign and Trent Schaefer to start the show. And I'm going to make it a title match. Which title does Trent have? If I want to remember, I click the titles button, and I look, he has the national title. So I put the national title on the line here. You could have up to 3. And I go into change the road agent notes. Now we're going to have this be a regular show, with the victor being Trent Schaefer. Add it. And we are okay to move forward. Afterwards, we know that Trent Schaefer is feuding with Rick Law. So I'll have Rick Law come out and cut a promo on Trent Schaefer. Which will bridge us right into our next match, where Rick Law is going to beat up a jobber. So I need a jobber heel. Tribal Warrior will do the trick. Oh, Night Larkin. And we'll give Rick Law the win. Next, we're going to go to our women's division. The current women's champion is Melody, a face. You know what I didn't do in this match? Let's crank it back a little bit. Rick Law should really, if this is a true squash match, Rick Law should dominate. So here we are. We got our next match. Why not? We'll give Valentine. Just Eddie Howard. Give both of the Natural Storm title matches on this show. Sort of have a theme going to the opening hour. And Casey Valentine wins, but he's going to win in tainted manners. So, this means illegal weapon, outside interference, feet on the ropes, these sort of things. So he wins, but it's kind of shady. Maybe we'll do that match again. And how about after the match, Casey Valentine celebrates, but in an over-the-top manner. Alright, so I just said I wanted to do the women, so let's get a #1 contenders match out here between Killer Cass and Raven Robinson. And Killer Cass is going to go over. I guess Killer Cass is not going to go over. We'll have to find another women's division face. How about Miss American Pie? And as I said, Killer Cass will go over. My cat will go crazy with the meowing. And I'm going to sort my angles by menace here. And I am going to have Killer Cass absolutely destroy Melody, we'll say backstage after the match. So she's on the hunt. So we are looking at, we need a few more angles, and it's been 50 minutes. We're going to catch backstage up with Trent Schaefer. He's going to run down Rick Law, talk about his victory earlier today. And then we're going to set up our main event. Which is going to be Rich Money and Steve Freely versus Chris Caulfield and Nikki Champion. And this angle is going to be long, 15 minutes. Obviously, it's not 15 minutes of all four of them in the ring. It'll probably start with Rich Money, and then out comes Nikki Champion to cut him off. And then out comes Steve Freely to cut off Nikki Champion. Chris Caulfield comes out at the end and they all start talking, and then we're going to have a main event. Backstage, the Force is going to be walking around. You might see I use Menace a lot here. Let's do it this way. So Tyson Bane is going to say that him and T-Rex, he's going to have T-Rex watching his back because the Force doesn't know what's going to hit him. These two are going to destroy him. And the Force is going to have a little squashy squash match. With, Atlas. He could destroy Atlas in 3 minutes. It's a little high on the card for a squash, but that's because after they're going to get beat down. Or the Titans, Tyson Bane and T-Rex, are going to beat down the Force. So we have James Justice and Enigma. And this may seem crazy, like a crazy thing to do here. So just hang on, because I have a reason why I'm about to do what I'm about to do. The Cold Warriors, James Justice and Enigma, for the World Tag Team titles. And Enigma is going to win. James Justice and Enigma, your tag team champions. And they're going to have their legitimate post-match celebration. What a way to start off the new year, folks. James Justice and Enigma, your tag team champions. And we have 17 minutes remaining for the main event. We'll go 18 minutes with Rich Money, Chris Caulfield, Nikki Champion. Wait, that was dumb. Rich Money, Steve Freely, Nikki Champion, and Chris Caulfield. And Chris Caulfield is the weak link here, so he will be the one eating the pin. The champion, Steve Freely, getting the win. Now, as you may have noticed, one of our matches has to be a storytelling match. This is going to be that match. This specifies that the aim of the match is to set up or advance an issue or tell a part of the story. The workers will keep the match fairly simple and safe as to not overshadow the story being told. Helps a longer match. And we have 118 minutes. So how do you end a show? Brawl to the back. I know it says backstage brawl, but just stay with me here. Nikki Champion and Steve Freely brawling and out of control, and we'll see you on Thunder, folks. So Jumbo Jackson needs a match. We'll have him kill someone on the pre-show. And then we're going to start this thing. There's our pre-show. Jumbo Jackson and Freddie Dodson for the live crowd only. And as I said, there's a reason why I'm doing James Justice and Enigma over the Cold Warriors, and that's because every single time I've played USPW in this demo, they have popped positive. So, Petr Novak, one of the workers, is just juicing so hard on steroids. So hard. So here we go. Let's do it. So obviously, this is our pre-show match. It doesn't matter as much. We want to maintain between C- all the way up to A star. Although I don't foresee any A stars here. And Freddie Dodson took the beloved veteran gimmick, but he got a below average, which is fine. He's going to be a jobber essentially. Hey, a C+ to start off. I wish it was a little bit better. I was kind of expecting a little bit more from these two, but I'll take it. Trent Schaefer getting a defense in of his national title. Hey, Rick Law comes out and brings it up. So Rick Law sort of helping us out, saving the show a little bit. And we have Rick Law and Tribal Warrior saving the show and then immediately throwing it back in the trash. Hey, this isn't that bad. Casey Valentine, even though he was off his game, was able to get the pinfall using the ropes for leverage. Defense number 4 of his TV title in a C match. And you may be asking, this rating, how are they calculated? So it's showing how good it is, and as you can see, there's a lot of text here that tells you a lot about it. But essentially, there's penalties and pluses that go into it. A lot of it has to do with popularity and what the worker was being rated on. So a C+ here for Casey Valentine, running around, going crazy, just being super happy about his victory. Ooh, this didn't go well. Okay. Alright, so she started a badass gimmick, which is great, which is good, so we could hopefully build her up. And this should help build her up, so Killer Cass just absolutely destroying Melody backstage. Hey, Trish Schaefer talking is almost as good as Rick Law talking. Oh wow, Rick Law talking is better than these 4 talking. I blame Chris Caulfield. It's nuts. Nutty. Tyson Bang says he's going to introduce his new bodyguard to the world, and here's T-Rex. He's big. Obviously, T-Rex and Tyson Bane already a team, so it's a little bit, but... So the Force squashes Atlas. Doesn't really matter. Gets a D+. Oh, I was expecting this to do a little better, but the menace of Bane and T-Rex, they beat down the Force. I was expecting this to do better too, to be honest. James Justice and Enigma over the Cold Warriors. What a dream team. What a dream team holding the USPW Tag Team Championships. And they're celebrating. They've gotten the win. Yeah, and Caulfield was the wink link, as the game is so kind to tell us here. So Freely destroys Chris Caulfield with a Freely's Comet, which I believe is an F5, if I remember correctly. And we get a B- for our main event, which is not good enough. Yeah, not good enough. And it lost us popularity in all 21 regions. That's not good. Well, we'll try and pick it up and get better as we go. Hopefully bringing in Merit will help. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.